listeners, and welcome to Penguin Beach. We are down here at Cormorant Cove for a change, one of my favorite spots at the African penguin and seabird colony down here at Stony Point in Betty's Bay. And wow, I am so excited to be back. I'm freezing cold. It's been raining. It's even been hailing, but the sun has come out and it's time for Penguin Beach. My name is Byron and I'm going to be your naturalist for the day. And Igor is also back on duty. Igor, welcome back. Igor's been out in Hermanus and he has actually been filming some whales of late. So that is very, very cool, Igor. I know that the whales have been very, very active. It really is a blustery winter's day in Betty's Bay today. It was actually raining sideways. The wind is so strong, it's actually about 70 kilometers an hour, and the rain was really coming in at a horizontal angle. It's actually turned all the power off in Betty's Bay as well. It isn't called the Cape Storms for no reason. It is in fact very, very stormy today, and I believe that we are going to start experiencing some nice big waves as well that should be coming through this evening. But I must say, I really do enjoy the elements that winter enjoy the elements that winter enjoy the elements that winter enjoy the elements that winter
It's the finale of the Ranger Race. Come join us to see which guide has won the chase. Join Rexon and Tess and a very special guest. Who could that be? Come along and you'll see. Let's chat about how you can join WildEarth. At Eco Training, you can show us your worth. We'll talk about guiding and Ranger Race combat. We'd love to see you at our fireside chat.
So I started watching WildEarth at the beginning of COVID and I haven't looked back since. I've seen all of the leopards I wanted to see in Marive's. He's been so playful and such a character. I had to remind myself to breathe at some points. To see those two cubs made me very emotional. It's just been brilliant. It's just blown me away.
Here on WildEarth, we love it when you interact with our guides while they are live. In order to do this, you must head over to wildearth.tv/questions and submit your questions, comments and suggestions. Simple as that. And to make it even simpler, from time to time you will see a QR code on your screen. Open your camera phone and scan this code and it will take you straight to where you need to be. We look forward to answering your questions on this channel. School is out, and in the midst of all the excitement, WildEarth has created some fun new t-shirts so that our wild kids and future conservationists can get out, run, jump, play and explore nature freely in something that's made for a little outdoors rough and tumble. Find this and so much more on our shop. WildEarth kids, it's in your nature.
Penguin Beaches, welcome back. And just like that, magic, Igor and I have moved to another location. We are at the jacuzzi. We must apologize for the technical issues we were experiencing. We were close to World's End and had to move to Cormorant Corner, so I think that says it all. But jacuzzi seems to have some lovely signal and we are so stoked to be back live with you. And I'm actually getting a bit of sunshine coming through, warming up my ears. Looking beautiful. So please send through your questions and comments. Igor and I really want to hear from you. You just need to head over to the website and it's www.wildearth.tv/register, I believe. Or you go down to the QR code. You just scan the QR code that is on your screen now and it will direct you to the correct page. Alrighty, let's see what the penguins are up to down here. I must say I have missed the African penguins. I am interested to see how the weather is going to hold out today, so let's head over to the official weather forecast and see if we can expect any more horizontal rain. Has gone and looks like the rain has left us for the day. Perfect timing for the Penguin Beach show. I must say the real field temperature does feel less than 14 degrees. But I'm not a weatherman, so I'm not going to argue, but just look at how the wind, that 70 km/h wind is tearing up the ocean out there. Lots of white horses out there, and as Igor comes closer into shore, you can see how well protected the inshore areas are from the wind by all the kelp beds. Claire, thank you so much. We are super stoked to be here with you, and thank you for calling us the Dream Team. High five from the Dream Team. Claire, have a fantastic day and thank you for tuning in. I really want to see Flippy and I want to see Frodo, but I don't believe that they are home. I reckon that they are sitting tight underneath the boardwalk. Time will tell. Time will tell.
Byron, check this out. Do you think this is a big offshore storm?
Looks like we do have some cumulus clouds coming in there over the ocean. And I believe that we can expect some more rain. Which ocean do I think is the coldest? I'm going to ask Cecily just to send the viewer's name through again. I just missed the name. We've got a 7-second delay, but Cecily will hear me in a couple of seconds. I think it is Brum. Welcome to the show. Which ocean do I think is the coldest? I would guess probably the Southern Ocean. But I must say, where we are now, this is still the Atlantic Ocean. And in summertime, when the southeast winds blow and groom the west coast of South Africa, offshore, when those offshore winds blow, it pushes all the warm surface water offshore and it gets replaced by cold, rich, nutrient water below, and it is absolutely icy. It is ice cold. Even a die-hard surfer and snorkeler, like myself and Igor, sometimes battle to get into that water. If you haven't experienced an ice cream headache in your life from eating ice cream, you can experience it in the Atlantic Ocean by putting your head under the water. It really, really aches, and it can be very unpleasant when you are duck diving under multiple set waves repetitively. It causes the head to ache. I don't think the penguins suffer from ice cream headaches because of their fat deposits, as well as their amazing feathers that provide them with insulation and keep them nice and warm. I've never seen a penguin look too worried about jumping in the water unless the swell is really, really large, Igor? The water can be ice cold and they'll just hop right in. No worries. There's a little bit of a treadmill effect taking place at Jacuzzi here as the tide pushes. There's actually quite a large swell running, but it's coming out of the southwest direction and it's pushing right past Stony Point, and you can just see a little bit of the surge that the passing swell is creating. And this little juvenile African penguin is doing a little bit of rock skating at the moment. It's getting washed up and down the ledge there. Dean, you're 9 years old, and I'm so happy that you are joining us down here at Penguin Beach. I don't believe that the penguins, well, you know, they can suffer from hypothermia, of course. And I would say if there is a time when the penguins are molting, they go through what's known as a catastrophic molt. And what that means is they lose all of their feathers at once, but in periods. And if they are pushed into cold water at that time, they could potentially suffer from hypothermia because their feathers do not keep them warm. So it is actually very important that when penguins molt, and it mainly takes place in summer here at Stony Point, that they are not forced into the water unnecessarily because their feathers lack the insulatory capabilities they normally have. So yes, I would say that they can get sick. They could suffer from hypothermia, but during the molting period, it is more likely to happen than now when they have a full set of brand new plumage that is keeping them nice and toasty. They look unfazed by the weather conditions. I actually think that the cooler it is, the happier they are. We've actually seen in summer, I've noticed that in summertime, that's when penguins appear to be the most stressed out. Especially if they have decided to nest early, then they pant a lot and look very unhappy with the heat. Hello, Hayley. That's a fantastic question. It's such a relevant question as we are coming out of the peak breeding season. There are, of course, still some chicks around. They are relatively old at this stage. I'm just looking at Igor as he spins around here with a very curious look on his face. A kelp gull just shot past us. I think he's actually looking for a creche of penguins. Igor likes to focus on the topic at hand. So penguin chicks, when they are very young, they're covered in a set of fluffy down feathers, and then they will develop a secondary coat of down as well to keep them warm. But what we've noticed by observing them over this breeding season is that the parents really look after them. So the parents will keep them inside the burrow, for example, if it is very hot, because they cannot regulate their body temperatures very well. But as they get to about 30 days old, they are able to regulate their body temperatures more, and that's when their parents will leave them. They feel more comfortable to leave them, and that's when sometimes you'll notice that these chicks are getting left alone, even though they are still quite fluffy and covered in down. But in the early stages, if they are younger than about 30 to 35 days, they are unable to regulate their body temperatures correctly by themselves. And it's very important that the adults help them to stay covered in the shade. In fact, one of the main requirements for a penguin nest is that there is shade. And often when penguins choose exposed nests, like on open beaches, for example, often the breeding attempts are unsuccessful. The adults often leave because they get too hot and leave the eggs exposed, or they will leave the nest and leave the chicks exposed, and they can suffer from heat stress or be picked off by a predator like a kelp gull that Igor just spun around for. This African penguin is having a drink of salt water. Hello, Darian, and welcome to the show. Thank you for joining us down here on this very chilly day in Betty's Bay. So, sorry, I just got so distracted there by looking at this penguin on the rocks. Sorry, Darian, I will get to your question. This penguin is drinking some water in amongst the rocky crevices here. So penguin chicks, they will fledge at different ages. So the earliest a penguin chick will fledge is about 60 days old, and the latest is about 130 days old. They still stay close to their parents at this time, and as long as the chicks are present at the colony, the parents will actually continue to feed them. They are able to go into the water after they fledge, and they are able to go out and hunt for themselves. When they head out on their inaugural swim, when they actually leave the colony and they leave the care of their parents, only about 50% of them actually survive. They head out into the ocean and they disperse to the west and to the east, visit some colonies along the way, and they'll generally return to their natal colony where they are born from about a year to about a year and a half, when they're about 12 to 18 months old. Some of them don't ever return, but the majority do return to their natal colonies. But as youngsters go, and I'm sure that there are lots of parents out there that have had teenagers that didn't want to leave home, just like the penguins sometimes. Sometimes they'll stay for longer periods of time because it's easier. They will get fish from their parents still. I suppose the teenagers get lodging and money from their parents. That is so fantastic. We have a new viewer. Sithle, I'm so sorry. I pushed my headphones and I didn't hear the new viewer's name. Bush Lover, I believe Igor has just mouthed the viewer's name to me. That is fantastic. What a great name. Bush Lover. There really is nothing like... Oh, Bush Love, no, okay, thanks, Igor. Bush Love, okay, well, there isn't anything better than the bush, I must say. When I go to Djuma, wow, I am in my element, and I can see Igor smiling here as well. There's nothing quite like the bush. Generally, in the wild, penguins will live to about 10 to 15 years old. That's the African penguin. However, there have been individuals that have been recorded to a nice old age of 27 years old. But generally, penguins will only reach an old age like that when they are looked after in captivity. Of course, the older you get, the slower you swim, the more difficult it is to travel large distances offshore, travel over a number of kilometers to go out and find food. Fish are very, very fast, especially anchovies and sardines. And there are also Cape fur seals and great white sharks, as well as orcas that lurk in these oceans that can catch a slower, older penguin. But about 10 to 15 years is a very good lifespan for a wild African penguin. Seems to be some flipper tapping just taking place here, and a little bit of light pecking to the top of this individual's head. And these three penguins are standing very, very close together. Is this the pair that's trying to form? Hello, Henry. That is a fantastic question. So what's very interesting about that is we are at a colony that was only established in 1982. And these penguins moved from Dyer Island, which is to the east of us. Kilometers, I'm not sure. Driving, I can tell you it's about an hour and a half by boat and by flipper. A lot further. It's going to take you a couple more hours, especially by flipper. But they moved from Dyer Island, and generally penguins will move because there is a lack of food in that region. So they will locate to an area where there are greater food sources. That's one factor. And then another factor is that their previous environments, or the guano deposits that they used to utilize as nesting sites, have actually been harvested and used by agriculture. Guano is a very, very important source of, well, a very good, I'm not going to say important, it's a very good source of fertilizer, and lots of it, most of it, in fact, was scraped off the rocks, and now penguins have to nest in exposed areas, and they've come to Stony Point because of the fish stocks, as well as a suitable nesting area. So it is possible for penguins to move, and the juveniles that we are viewing might also not come back when they take their first swim. The majority will, but there will be a percentage of the juvenile population that relocate to other colonies if they see that there are greater opportunities there for them. There's a juvenile waddling about on the left-hand side of this very large group of African penguins. That juvenile has likely returned to Stony Point after heading off for its first swim on its own, leaving mom and dad a while back, maybe a year ago, maybe a year and a half ago. I wonder if this juvenile will now molt towards the onset of summer and attain its adult breeding plumage. I quite like them when they have their juvenile plumage. It gives the sense, or it creates an illusion nearly, when you hear that there are more than one penguin species on view. I've actually stood close to visitors, and I've heard visitors speak about there being two different types of penguins here, when in fact it's actually the same species, just at a different stage of their life. Tyler, there's nothing quite like it. Observing African penguins, it is such a privilege to have them located on the mainland and literally be able to walk down and come and observe them on a daily basis. They really are such incredible animals. And of course, we mostly associate them with Antarctica. So I think for a lot of people, it's quite a long way away when you think about penguins, but we're quite fortunate here in South Africa to have a number of active penguin colonies, all the way down the west coast and all the way to Algoa Bay in the eastern Cape, as you start losing the effects of the cold Benguela current. This juvenile finds itself in a little bit of a dangerous situation, trapped between two adults in a gully in the rocks. I'm anticipating a peck here. Whichever direction this juvenile penguin takes, it's facing an adult African penguin's bill. Playing it safe at the moment and just taking this time to look after its feathers. It's either preening its feathers low down on its body, or it's extracting some oil from its preen gland. I really wish sometimes the adult African penguins would remember back to the days that they were juveniles and to the days when they were bullied by all the older birds around them.
We are offering our explorers another extraordinary WildEarth experience. Explorers stand a chance to win a 3-night stay for two at Amakhala Game Reserve, picturesquely situated next to Addo Elephant Sanctuary Park. Enjoy an authentic bush lodge experience in the luxurious Woodbury tented camp and feel the heartbeat of Africa on exhilarating safari drives. Sign up to be an explorer today and you might soon be off to this untouched safari destination with WildEarth.
It's the finale of the Ranger Race. Come join us to see which guide has won the chase. Join Rexon and Tess and a very special guest. Who could that be? Come along and you'll see. Let's chat about how you can join WildEarth. At Eco Training, you can show us your worth. We'll talk about guiding and Ranger Race combat. We'd love to see you at our fireside chat.
Leopard lover, I would jump on the first ship out there if I had the opportunity to go and venture towards Antarctica, not just because of the penguins, just because of the general pelagic bird life. I would love to observe albatross and petrels and everything like that. I find pelagic birds in particular to be such amazing creatures, to have adapted to such a harsh environment, to drink seawater, to handle the storms out there, to find food that is very scattered and patchily distributed at times. What amazing animals they truly are. So I would definitely jump at that opportunity. And I've never seen ice sheets or snow or anything to be honest. Well, I've seen snow on the mountains. Igor looked at me with such shock. I've never seen snow. No, I've never touched snow. That was the correct. No, he's looked at me with shock again. So Igor's saying what? So I've never touched snow. So it is a dream of mine to one day get it in my hands. I've seen it on the mountain tops here in the Western Cape in winter. Sometimes when you are fortunate enough to fly during that time of year, you fly over the mountains that are covered in snow as well. But if there is snow that falls in the Western Cape, everyone flocks to that area, and by the time you get there, it's pretty much cold mud. So I haven't made the mission. Oh, we've just had a bit of a tumble there. 2 juvenile African penguins ran through the gauntlet there. And the adults, nasty as always, to the juvies, caused the one to stumble and fall on what I can tell you is an extremely hard, rocky surface. These very, very ancient sandstone rocks are extremely hard and painful to fall on. Fortunately, penguins do have solid bones, fat deposits, and feathers that can protect them from falls like that. My monitor has an adult just, I think that's instant karma. Instant karma.
With a 7-second delay.
With a 7-second delay. My monitor has just decided to run out of battery, so I'm very happy because I get to snuggle up close to Igor here now and look through his viewfinder to see what is going on. I feel instantly warmer, Igor, thanks.
That's actually one of the interesting differences I find between different penguin species. So with the Arctic penguins, they very much love to huddle up close to each other to keep their bodies nice and warm. Contrasting that with these penguins, where they'd give each other a very skiff look when one comes into their personal space bubble, followed with a sharp peck.
I'm sure everyone heard Igor use a South Africanism there, a skiff look. It's like a sideways look or a strange...
Side eye.
A side eye. So it's a South Africanism for those of you who aren't South African. I'll just give you a little bit of a dirty look, and it's definitely related to climate. The conditions are extremely harsh in Antarctica in comparison to, should I call it sunny South Africa? Yeah, I can call it sunny South Africa.
It's sunny compared to...
It's very sunny, yeah, sunny South Africa. So it's interesting to note that behavior. And you're quite right, African penguins do not like another individual other than their partner that they have linked up with over the years, or a potential new partner or new bond forming. They will allow those individuals into their personal bubble, but if you are a stranger, you're going to be picked at very short notice. There's not much warning given. A side to side turn of the head and a lunge forward with the bill. You can see that most of the individuals that we are looking at, if I say most because not all of them are displaying the same behavior, have their backs turned to the direction of the chilly wind. But there is one that we are observing now that is facing directly into this ice cold wind, which I think gives quite a good indication of how well insulated they are. If I didn't have multiple layers on, I've got 3 on. Nice windbreaker and jacket, fleece.
The Masai Mara in Kenya, a remote landscape where wilderness reigns. Its inspirational beauty captivates the hearts of many around the world. This year, from August, WildEarth is leading a number of unique expeditions to follow Africa's greatest wildebeest migration here in the Masai Mara. And now, the remaining places have been discounted by 20%. Head over to our website to find out. We want to make it even easier for you to interact with our guides whilst watching WildEarth. When you see a QR code like this pop up on your screen, then open your phone camera, point it at the code, and you will be taken directly to our question page. Simple as that. Then you can let us know what you want to see, ask questions, and much more.
I've had it before where I've been walking and a waterbuck's jumped out of the grass. It's quite a frightening experience.
WildEarth, it's in your nature.
The first thing that I notice when we look at this white-breasted cormorant is that its breast and throat area is not really white. So this is a juvenile white-breasted cormorant. That is one of the ways to identify a juvenile from the adults. If this was an adult, it would be beautiful and white all the way up to its throat. Such lovely birds. I really do love all the cormorant species. I would say as much as penguins. Igor, I heard you take a breath in, and that can only mean one thing. You've got a question.
Oh no, I was actually just going to say that
Tanya, that is a fantastic question, and I don't think that I'm going to be able to lock down a specific species without doing any research. So I am on tomorrow, on Saturday, down here at Penguin Beach, and I'm going to have to do some research to find a specific species for you. So seabirds, pelagic birds, a lot of them do use smell, like the petrels have a very, very strong sense of smell and are able to locate food in that way. But of course, they use their eyesight as well. And a lot of pelagic birds rely on predatory fish to push up bait fish from below to get them to the surface. And of course, they're going to have to be able to see those fish. So they do have good eyesight and good smell. I'd just like to thank everyone for sending in all the comments and questions. It's been so great. And just a reminder that you just need to scan the QR code that will appear on your screen. Right there, right there. I hope it's there, Igor, and it's not just your finger pointing at absolutely nothing. And it will take you to the area where you can ask your comments and questions. We really do love to hear from you. It makes the show incredible. We love interacting with the viewers. We do have some lovebirds, Igor. Look at these two lovebird penguins. Igor actually pointed them out to me earlier, and then he decided to go straight to a cormorant. But look at these two lovebirds here. A little bit late in the breeding season, or in the peak breeding season. You can find a penguin breeding all year round. But these two look like they are just starting to display courtship behavior. And this really is my best time to watch penguins, when they're being all cute with one another, re-establishing their pair bonds or forming a new bond. Igor was saying, speaking about cute, let's have a look at these two. That penguin looks like it's really, really well fed. That individual looks very nice and fat, and seems to have been enjoying the hunting offshore. No doubt locating some schooling baitfish in the depths. Some mutual preening taking place, some allopreening, as it's known. The one individual is allopreening, and that same individual that is actually being preened by the other is just preening itself. I wonder if it's going to return the favor, if it's going to just continue focusing on its own feathers. Interesting. The individual that was being allopreened by its partner has moved closer, maybe for some more. Doesn't look like it is starting to allopreen and return the favor. Or I thought I'd spoken too soon there. I just saw the head and the bill. It's just walked directly in front of the other one, I think, hinting for an allopreen.
Looks like a kelp gull, but it's got a white beak.
No, that's very interesting. Did not have something in its bill, maybe.
I saw it earlier, but I wasn't sure.
Okay, this is quite interesting. This individual is just going to investigate something by the rocks. So what I think this individual is doing is it might be looking for some nesty material just to show its partner that it is interested in starting to build a nest. Okay, and we're going to move away because we've got a raft of penguins moving through the water like little marine torpedoes. They've moved quite quickly. Have you still got them, Eagle? No. They have moved. They've moved through the water so quickly. It looks like they're heading towards Oystercatcher Cove, and they will likely pop out in that bay there. Igor, can we go back to these two individuals that are providing us with quite a lot of entertainment here? I'm really enjoying their behavior. The one preening the other one not returning the favor. Hello, Felt, and welcome to the Penguin Beach Show. Very cool name as well, Felt. I really, really like it. So, penguins are monogamous and they have very long, protracted, I should say, pair bonds. So, they can mate for life. Not all of them mate for life. Some do find another partner if reproduction is unsuccessful or if something might happen to their life partner. So they will find other mates. But I've been hanging out penguin colonies for quite some time and always notice that the male only has one female. And I used to do nest box counts or nest box assessments at the Boulders Penguin Colony and have never seen more than 2 penguins within their specific nest box or burrow. I know that if they are establishing new bonds, you often see a group of penguins together that are competing with one another for that specific mate. But I can't say that I've ever seen a male with 2 females. They seem to be serial monogamists with very, very long-lasting pair bonds. Look at that waddle. Oh man, I missed that waddle. Breast forward, head back, the perfect balance, and just waddling down to the ocean with a lot of purpose, these two. Some obstacles in the way now, but these two look desperate for a swim. It's going to be interesting to see what they do, if they just head out and swim and return to the rocks, or if they go into the water and continue to swim out to sea. It will give us a really good indication of where they are at with life currently. If they go for a swim and return, I would suggest that they probably do not have eggs or chicks, and if they head out and don't come back, they've likely been relieved from their nest at this time of year. Time will tell. It looks like it looks like we've already figured out what's going on. They've started to groom instantly.
School is out, and in the midst of all the excitement, WildEarth has created some fun new t-shirts so that our wild kids and future conservationists can get out, run, jump, play, and explore nature freely in something that's made for a little outdoors rough and tumble. Find this and so much more on our shop. WildEarth Kids. It's in your nature. WildEarth Explorers is a club aimed at people who love nature and care about the earth we live on. First and foremost, if you join our club, you can watch WildEarth completely ad-free. In addition, we have great monthly prize draws, a weekly newsletter, and access to some great extra content such as fireside chats, AMAs, and hangouts. For a small monthly subscription, you can join other like-minded viewers and be part of the club. WildEarth Explorers.
They just go over that ledge. Kenny, I must agree. I think that penguins are so happy as soon as they touch water. You could just see how those two individuals were moving with purpose to the sea. They really, really wanted to get there. As they all just get washed over like they're whitewater rafting without a raft, using themselves as rafts. But I definitely agree. When they're in the water, they look so happy. It really is the place that they are most comfortable. They can look quite awkward on land, or they aren't really built to move over long areas on land. They like to hang out quite close to the water, so they have easy access. Of course, on land, if there's a predator around, a penguin doesn't really stand too much of a chance unless it is positioned close to the water, and it can simply take a few steps and hop in. Those short little legs don't allow them to move with a lot of speed on land. But those legs do provide them with a very nice sturdy rudder when they're in the water and help them to steer when they are flapping away with their flippers. I must say the jacuzzi area is so entertaining. I really love this area on high tide, especially when penguins are bathing like this. I think if Igor and myself had to jump in there, we'd be stranded on those rocks like a beached whale. Definitely. There's not enough water to support us there. Oh, that is really cool. Igor, can we go and have a look at that individual? Igor has just spotted. We're going to have to just get off our tripod a little bit. Or actually, Igor, this individual is coming under the bridge here. Let's see if this individual will play along. This really is a beautiful, beautiful African penguin just stopped under the boardwalk. I can see them on the other side here, Eagle. They're just assessing the situation before they commit to coming under the bridge as they see these other very strange looking bipedal animals. I'm referring to us, Eagle, if you are not sure.
I know what that is. Thank you.
After an exhilarating day of live safaris, what better than to cozy up around a fire? Sign up to be a WildEarth explorer and let our guides enchant you with their stories and exciting animal encounters. And of course, stand a chance to join in the chat and get your questions answered in real time. So what are you waiting for? Join the Explorers Club today and start to enjoy our special evenings around the fire. WildEarth Explorers, it's in your nature.
They exited the water very, very abruptly. I didn't see anything in the water. Okay, Eagle. There goes our beautifully marked individual. Not playing ball. They didn't want to cross the boardwalk. It looks like they have snuck behind us. But just look at the front penguin's markings. Just on its right breast. If it turns for us. If it turns. I think that they might still go under the boardwalk. They just didn't expect Igor and myself to be standing in this exact position as they wanted to head out there. Can you see any of the speckles there? No. Igor's saying he got... Okay. Igor's saying that there was a very, very brief moment where we could make out some of the markings, but they've headed off towards the Oyster Catcher Cove and are now out of sight. I'll be quite keen to see if we can come across that individual again. I can't say that I've ever spotted a penguin with those kind of markings. And we have, of course, been down at the jacuzzi many, many times. We're going to stick with these two individuals and just see if this one will turn and play ball for us. You get full extent of the black markings upon that individual's breast. Very cautious, these two. Playing hide and go seek with the eagle. And they are currently winning at hide and go seek. I really cannot believe that the rain has completely stopped today. I really thought that we were not going to get out and hang out with everyone today when the rain was pelting when it was pelting horizontally against my windows. But wow, what a pleasure it has been to spend, I would say, nearly a full Penguin Beach show. We had a little bit of signal issues in the beginning down at World's End, but the weather has cleared up nicely, and just look at those beautiful, beautiful mountains that we are so fortunate to always observe from this beautiful penguin colony in Betty's Bay. Everyone stay tuned. I encourage you to stay tuned for the safaris. Of course, we're going to be at Djuma and at Pridelands, Amakhala, Kazuko. And of course, we're going to be at the waterholes in Namibia, Botswana, and of course at Djuma again. It's been an absolute pleasure hanging out with everyone. Igor says cheers. Igor, there we go. Beautiful thumb you have, Igor. From myself and from Igor's beautiful thumb, have a fantastic day further, everyone, and we'll check you tomorrow. Ciao.
This program features live coverage of an African safari and may include animal kills and carcasses. Viewer discretion is advised.